Hi. The film I will be talking about today is Once Upon a Time in America. This film was directed by Sergio Leone. It stars Robert De Niro, James Woods, Elizabeth McGovern, Jennifer Connelly, and Tuesday Weld. I have put off talking about this film ever since I started this channel because it is so intimidating to talk about a film that I love this much, knowing that I'm in no way eloquent or articulate enough to do this masterpiece justice. So I've waited at this stage in the game, and even though there's still no way I can do it justice, I couldn't put it off any longer and decided to just go ahead and sing its praises, even though I'll still fall somehow inadequately short. This film, watching it, experiencing it, I can still remember it was on TCM. And keep in mind, this film's 4 hours. And I had DVR'd it. It was a film I'd heard of. I liked Leone as a director. I knew what a magnificent talent he was. I'd seen glimpses of his stuff, but not as much to this point. And as I watch, I see that this is like a 3 to 4 hour long, or like 3.5 to 4 hour long film. And it's midnight when I'm getting ready to I figure start an hour of it. I watch the whole thing. It's the fastest 4 hours of my life, and it'll be the fastest 4 hours of whoever watches this. You come away disappointed when it's over. And it's 4 hours long. You almost watch it and think, is that all I'm going to get? I want more. He doesn't hurry any scene. Each scene has like a lyrical, poetic, beautiful quality to it. And what's remarkable is this is a film about the mob. And the violence in this film is unflinchingly brutal. These mobsters at times are so crass and just vulgar and do things that would even make a hard case kind of squirm. And yet, in spite of that, and along with it, there's scenes of such beauty. Ennio Morricone did the score for this film, did all the music. One of them is called Deborah's Theme. I go to it on YouTube all the time. And Deborah is played by Jennifer Connelly when she's young and Elizabeth McGovern as she's older. Deborah's Theme is one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. Whenever I'm down or just kind of want to decompress, I will type that in on YouTube and just listen to that music. And you just want to meet Morricone and shake his hand and say, thank you. Thank you for this. Sergio Leone and Terrence Malick are my two all-time favorite filmmakers. What I love about them is that they participate in the filmmaking genre and they transcend it, or the filmmaking art form. They transcend and expand the very art form that they're working in. They don't stay within its guidelines. They push it and show us as viewers what can be done when an artist brings his passion and is unwilling to compromise. And if you've ever been to an art gallery and looked at a beautiful painting, picture that painting coming to life and being accompanied by music. And you kind of get what this film or what is really all about. As I said earlier, this is a film about the mob. And this was a film that when it came out was butchered by the studios. This is not a linear storytelling type of film. It starts in the early 1900s, goes to the 1930s, then and it bounces back and forth. The studio didn't want to put up with that kind of creative, non-linear storytelling. They wanted the more generic form, and they just cut scenes. They cut a 4-hour film down to 2, and the audience comes out there scratching their head, not knowing what's going on. Then Leone got his version out, and it made Gene Siskel's top film of 1984. He picked it as the best film. Ebert said it was one of the best films, and it also made his 10 worst list, the studio version. And when you see this, and to even imagine a studio doing that, you can't help but be angry. It's like, keep your hands off of this work of art. Don't do that. And you marvel at what Leone was able to capture. And this is during the time in the 80s of MTV, of fast editing, of not letting scenes drag too long. And what this film does is there's certain scenes in this film that are unlike I've ever seen in any other film. There's a scene where a boy is getting a pastry at the local bakery to give to a girl in return for a sexual favor. Again, this is a pretty rough film. And as he gets back, there's a scene that just shows him as he's sitting outside the door waiting for the girl. And he slowly kind of unwraps it and the music that accompanies it, and he starts to kind of taste the cream, and he starts to do it. There's no other movie that gives you a beautiful kind of quiet moment like that. What purpose did that serve? We got to get from A to B to C to D, and we just got to get there, and we got to get there fast. We can't let them start to lose interest. Every scene's got to lead to this one, and life's not like that. There are little interludes in life that are beautiful, even though they didn't really lead to anything. They're still beautiful. And to have Leone be directing this, and then get the actors that are the caliber of De Niro, Woods. Jennifer Connelly is, I think, 13 years old in this film. This was her first picture. We all know what a beautiful woman Jennifer Connelly is. She was a breathtakingly beautiful girl at that age too. And she delivers dialogue in this film that is so poetic. And to think that a young girl is delivering this dialogue, and it never once feels kind of funny, like, she's saying stuff and she could have no idea. You get that she knows what she's saying. She gets it. She doesn't seem like a young actress who's overwhelmed by the material she's been given. And she makes it seem believable and natural that it's coming from her, which is hard for somebody of that age to do. Usually, child actors, they're painstakingly cute, they're obnoxiously precocious, they're unctuous, they're all those things that just make you repel. She is not like that in this film. And then the boy who plays a younger version of Robert De Niro looks so much like Robert De Niro and does such an amazing job as well in this film. The kids that play the adults when they were younger do it flawlessly. And this film centers around these gangsters that all met each other when they were younger in New York in the early 1900s. And then started making money during Prohibition. And then this involves a double cross. And the man who makes or thinks he made the first double cross is played by Robert De Niro, who goes by the name of Noodles in the film. And I don't want to get bogged down into plot, because this plot is so intricate and that I could just get off and go way too far down the rabbit hole, and I don't want to do that. And I don't really even want to give anything away, because as great a film as this is and all the people that love it, there's still way too many people out there that haven't seen it, and I don't want to rob you of the experience I got when I saw this for the first time. But we first meet De Niro, David, aka Noodles, and he's on the escape. Things have gone wrong. He's betrayed his friends. He's getting out of Dodge. Then it cuts to him 35 years later. He's been living in Buffalo, New York. He gets a letter letting him know someone's found him. His past has come back for him. And then he returns to New York, and we get to go through this walk and this journey with him as he recalls events from his childhood, his early adulthood, and then it intersperses with him today. And it's done so seamlessly by Leone. And as I said, Leone never feels pressure to hurry a scene along in this film. When De Niro comes back to New York 35 years later, New York City, There's a scene where he's in a telephone booth and he makes a phone call to a character that goes by Fat Mo, who still kind of owns the same place that he'd had years ago. And you can't hear them talking. And you just see through the glass as Mo takes the phone. You kind of see his mouth. He's saying it like, watching that scene and the music that accompanies it, the intake when he shows up at the door and you see these two men who look at each other, and those from our past, that they hold a key to doors that nobody else can unlock. They have the code. They were there. And it kind of shows you how the past, it is in the past, it's behind us, and yet at the same time, it's never not with us. And those that knew us in those formative years will always know us in a way that nobody else ever can. Ever. And as he comes into Fat Mo's and he stares at the old photographs of the neighborhood, of the kids, of his old gang, and stares at the pictures, and it's almost as if like they're saying something. We don't know what they're saying to him, but it's like they're calling out to him. He seems to be reaching out to it, and he also seems to be haunted by it. And I think so many of us can identify with that. The past is something that we sometimes enjoy a good stroll down memory lane, and other times it seems like a deep dive masochistic, exercise and self-flagellation. I mean, like, why would we do that to ourselves? Why go down that, horrific rabbit hole? Why do it? It's not going to do anybody any good. And watching him kind of come back to not make peace with the past, that never seems to be what he's doing, as much as he's trying to reckon with it and to get a hold on it. He doesn't know if peace can be made, but he also knows he can't escape the things that had happened years ago. And even though he's kind of got this alias that he goes by and he's gone on, if he's going to have any type of life left, he's got unfinished business in New York that has to be dealt with. The ghosts are still there. And watching De Niro's character go through this journey and seeing he and James Woods at the top of their game, them together, there are scenes in this film, so many, that gave me goosebumps between those two. They're both very good and so different and similar at the same time. They're both intense, but they're intense in different ways. De Niro almost has a quiet intensity. He can mutter two words, but you feel the weight of everything he says. You feel that there's so much underneath. Whereas Woods is hyperbolic. He's a live wire. You never know what to expect from him. And then he brings this kind of intimidating intelligence to any character he plays. And Woods himself, the intelligence part is easy to understand why. This is somebody that went to MIT. And he's kind of, and oddly enough too, in his personal life, he's known for being volatile, making bold statements, always kind of speaking his mind, whether people want to hear it or not. And his opinions are often bold and provocative. He never seems to be middle of the road in his personal life, and he always plays characters that are larger than life. And he and De Niro being intense, but in such diametrically opposed ways, the yin and yang of that, and the scenes with them, and the way that these men, De Niro and Woods, grew up together, ultimately fall out, and then as you'll see, ultimately reunite. When I will say, they will have a scene later on in the film where they come together. And that film, it is so cliche to say goosebumps, but it gave them to me. Seeing that. Elizabeth McGovern, who plays Deborah, the older version of Deborah, she and De Niro have this unhealthy love for one another in the film. He knows that a girl like her could never lower herself to live in the gutter with a man like him. He also knows he'll never stop wanting her, and that the fact that she would never be comfortable in his world is what made her so appealing to him. And she will admit that he's the only one that she ever cared for, and at the same time knew it could never work. The feelings were real. The love was real. But it wasn't going anywhere. And as they reconnect later on in the film and see each other once again, it reminds me of how when you see someone that you haven't seen in years, maybe an old girlfriend or old boyfriend from high school, you can be over them. And in this film, they still do have those feelings. But in a hypothetical, you could still be over that person, happily married. And yet when you see them, they're not just your ex. They're a link to your past. They symbolize something to you. And it makes the reunion that much more palpable. And you feel things that much more intensely. Because you can look at them and they take you somewhere that the person in your life today can't take you. Because they knew you at a time where they didn't. Before you were more well known for being a father, a husband, whatever your job title is. They knew you when you were just that kid on the block. And there have been a lot of great gangster films made. Goodfellas, The Godfather, Casino. I don't know if you would call Mean Streets. Well, Mean Streets, yeah, that would be a gangster film. I even did a video on Mean Streets. This, by far, is my favorite gangster film ever made. If not my favorite film ever made. Because so many gangster films, as good as they can be, get more into the mechanics of how the organized crime world works. How it runs, the interplay among the people, backstabbing, all those things do happen in the underworld. Whereas this, we get to see more the people that carry it out, the ramifications that they deal with for living in this world. And it made them seem the most human, more so than any other gangster film I've ever seen. Nobody in this film is a caricature. They're all real people. You know that when you see it. And because of the length, because he never speeds anything along, we get to know them as people, which makes it resonate more when they do these horrible things. Because we've taken the journey with them. It's not just, oh, that guy was there, that guy was it. We've been there. We've seen it. We've been on the ride the entire time with them. And we saw them, and this is what this film does so well. We saw them when they were young in this film. We saw them when they were getting started. We saw them when they still had some promise, before they'd completely gotten corrupted, before they succumbed to the underworld, when there was still a chance they might get out of it, before they completely sold out and bought into it. And then we get to see, toward the end, the ramifications of the journey they've taken, what it did to all of them. how it scarred each and every one. And it made me think of a line in a book I had read. It was about the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns fight. And it was about those first 3 rounds that were so intense. And in the book, the author talks about how when you make a deal with the devil, he will collect without empathy. This film shows that. The deal with the devil was made, and the devil did collect without empathy. And watching that, seeing a story like that be told, was beyond an entertainment experience. It was an enriching experience. Sometimes we don't even get entertained, much less enriched. With this film, you will be. It will be one that every time you watch it, you notice something a little different. And I will warn you, as I've said earlier, it is brutal. Some of the stuff in this film, some of the scenes will make you squirm. Other scenes are so beyond beautiful, you can't even wrap your mind that it's the same film. But here's the thing, that's life. There are moments in life that are so harsh and so vulgar and so depressing. The Holocaust, like we're capable of such atrocity, such evil. Go look at any big city and the people that have needles in their arms and just are dying on the street, and the strife that we see on a daily basis. And then you can go to some spot somewhere and see an amazing sunset, or be hiking a mountain and see something that's really breathtaking. Be at the beach and see, the ocean be bluer than it ever has been. So clear that, it doesn't even seem real. Life is all those things, and it's all those things at once. And I've never seen a film capture that as well as this film does. So, I think it's safe to say I love this film, and I think you will too. Until next time, thanks.